If you're trying to learn how to play changes in a jazz context, you're going to want to know how to play arpeggios and utilize them through your changes. And in this video, I'm going to cover what arpeggios you should know and how you should practice them so you can eventually start to use them in your jazz improvisation. So guys, my name is Matt Friedland. I'm a professional guitar player, musician, educator, and I'm the founder of the 360 music system. And so in this video, I'm going to show you these arpeggios that you need to know and how you can practice them in various ways. So make sure you stick around for that. So I go through these steps you can take so you can integrate these arpeggios into your playing. So the first question is, what is the arpeggio, or what are the arpeggios you need to know? There are 4 of them. You need to know a major 7 arpeggio, you need to know a dominant 7 arpeggio, and you need to know a minor 7 arpeggio and a minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio. If you know those 4 arpeggios, that'll cover a lot of ground and a lot of jazz standards. So let's start with the major 7 arpeggio here. All right, so I'm going to use the C as the example of all these. A major 7 arpeggio means you need the C, you need the root, you need a major 3rd, which would be the E, you need a perfect 5th, is your G. That's your triad, and you need a major 7, is your B. That's your major 7 arpeggio. Okay, now to modify this into a C dominant 7 arpeggio, all we do is lower the 7th. So we had root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. This is a major 7th, meaning it's a half step away from the root, the C again. If I need to make it a minor 7th to play a dominant 7 arpeggio, we take that B and we lower it to B flat. Becomes a minor 7th, a whole step away from the C. So we now get root, 3rd is the E, 5th is the G, flat 7 is the B flat, and the C again is the root. That's a C dominant 7 arpeggio. Fits over a C7 chord or C7 in a shell, voicing, or any versions of C7, C13, stuff like that. So that's a dominant 7 arpeggio. Okay, so we have major 7, C, E, G, B natural, and then the root. Dominant 7, we just adjust the B to a B flat. Okay, now the next one is minor 7. If you're playing a minor 7 chord, C minor 7, we need a C minor 7 arpeggio. So we'll get the C, now we get the minor 3rd. So instead of playing the major 3rd, the E here, I'm just going to lower it down to E flat. Becomes a minor 3rd. C, E flat. You get the G is the perfect 5th. Flat 7 is the B flat. And C is the root. So here's our minor 7. It's a little bit of a stretch in this position, but the idea is that you see how we're just changing one note from the dominant 7. Dominant 7, we had C, E, G, B flat, and C. C minor 7, we go C, E flat, G, B flat, and C. So that's a C minor 7 arpeggio. Fits over a C minor 7 chord. Okay, now instead of doing the stretch, that was really just to visualize it. It's a lot easier to play the E flat on the 11th fret of the 6th string. So I'm going to play now C, E flat here is the minor 3rd, G is the 5th, B flat is the flat 7, and C is the root. So this fingering is a lot more practical. Same notes. We need to know both, but generally this is a lot more practical playing-wise. Okay, that's C minor 7. Now the last one is C minor 7 flat 5. So all that means is it's a C minor 7 arpeggio but we're just going to flat the 5 or lower the 5. So here is G, so we're just going to play a G flat. So we're just lowering the 5th, flatting the 5. That's what a C minor 7 or a minor 7 flat 5 chord is. We have a root, minor 3rd, flat 5, then we've got B flat, and we've got C. So there's your minor 7 flat 5. Root, minor 3rd, flat 5, flat 7, and then root again. Minor 7 flat 5 chord. We would get something like 8, 8, 8, string 6, 4, 3, and then fret 7 of the 2nd string. There's your G flat there. Okay, so with those arpeggios, we got C major 7, C dominant 7, and we got C minor 7, and then C minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so if it's C major 7, we can use it over a C major 7 chord. If it's C dominant 7, we can use it over a C dominant 7 chord. If it's C minor 7, we can use C minor 7 arpeggio over a C minor 7 chord, and C minor 7 flat 5, or this version, we can use the C minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio over a C minor 7 flat 5 chord. So these will all be usable over the jazz changes, chord changes we see in a traditional jazz standard. These are the 4 primary chords that we're going to see in most jazz tunes. So the next steps from here would be, how do you actually practice this stuff? Well, what we would want to do, this is actually part of one of the Berkeley method books that I studied out of. The author, William Levitt, lays out playing the arpeggio. In this case, C major 7 is the example. Here's the next octave, E, G, and B, and C. And he created a loop going from C to C as a starting point. Just playing them up and down in eighth notes. So the starting point could be, you set a metronome to get your time together, which is really important, so that you can actually use these in your playing. You got to use a metronome. And we just loop from C to C with a C major 7 arpeggio. So you get. You'd play it, probably about 8 to 12 times or so. Okay, and then from there, we would want to start the arpeggio off of the 3rd. So in this case, the E. So E, G, B, C, and E again. So the idea with this is that when we are playing and improvising, we can start an idea or a pattern or a phrase off of any note within the chord. So that's why we're practicing them off of each scale degree. So we're not limited to just playing them off of the root. So I'm playing now E, the arpeggio from E. So I would loop that. So it turns into. So now we're working on it from E to E. Now it's a little bit technically challenging on this because of the use of the 3rd and 4th finger, so it's actually a good technique builder. However, if we wanted to adjust to like another finger, like finger 1 and 2, you could do that as well if it's more practical for playing. And normally I would default to something like that. So either way, try whatever fingering works for you. The next note, though, would be the G, so we play up from the G. I'm going to use the 3rd and 4th finger. And again, we would repeat that, right? So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. This is a good workout for the 3rd and 4th finger here. Now, another way to play that, instead of playing the G here, we could play the G on fret 12 of the 3rd string, and now I can use the 1st and and second finger. So I get. That's a lot more practical to me, but I would practice them both ways. Or I like that one a lot more comfortable fingering wise. So the next one starting from the B. So we go B up to the B here. And you loop that. So that'd be from B to B. These are trickier because of the fingerings, because of the string jumps. So you could also do it with the pinky here on the B. And that to me is a lot more practical because then I can use some hammer-ons. And it's within the 4 fingers and it doesn't span. It doesn't span the 4 strings. It can be a little bit challenging to pick that. But want to practice both, so just we have the fluency to be able to do both. And then finally from C to C. That'd be from C to C if we were practicing the arpeggio. So that's the idea, is you practice the arpeggio off of every note so that you have a pathway to start an idea or a phrase off of any chord tone and build your vocabulary and your technique at the same time. And then we would want to do that for the other chords. So if it's C dominant 7, we got C7 with the B flat, then go from E. Then we go from G. Then we go from B flat. And then we go from C. Excuse me. Okay, then we do the same thing for C minor 7. So we go. Then E flat to E flat. And then we go from G to G. Then we go from B flat to B flat. And then we go from C to C. Okay, and then lastly, C minor 7 flat 5. And then we go from the third. Then from the flat 5. It's right here. The G flat right here. And then from the flat 7, the B flat is right here. And then from the root. Okay, so what this does is it kind of creates a sight line, a vision of where all the chord tones are. So when you're improvising, you can target those, which is a big component to playing changes in a jazz context. And the other thing is you'll be working out some of your rhythm and then some of your technique. However, there are different ways to play these arpeggios, and there are different ways to go about them as well. This is just kind of the starting point. So if you want to learn more about other ways you can play arpeggios and other places you can move them, let me know in the comments if you want to see some more ways to play arpeggios beyond this. This is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. All right, guys, so hope this makes sense. Hope this helps you guys in your jazz guitar playing and your improvisation. And if you got value from this video here, please like it, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.